Hi, welcome to this new webinar. Today we are going to speak about progressive web apps and especially how to start creating a progressive web app with GoodBarber. As usual, if you have questions, you can use the chat window and I will answer them after the presentation. So why should you consider to create a progressive web app? Well, users spend more time on mobile than on computers. And on mobile, if you want to keep their attention, you need to deliver a first-class user experience. People like when content loads fast. People like when scrolling is smooth. People like to get notified when they need to. People like to just click a button to access their favorite go-to place on the internet. People like to be able to access the content they like, whatever the network conditions. All of this can be achieved with progressive web apps. Progressive web apps are a new kind of websites. They behave just like native apps and they provide extra benefits like discoverability in search engines or easy distribution through a URL. So let's jump inside the GoodBarber backend to see how to start creating one. So this is where you land when you create a project from goodbarber.com. Here you have the main navigation, and today we are going to focus on the builder, so the place where you design and put content inside your app. So I recommend that you follow the steps of the wizard, and the first step is to choose a global style for your app. First, I'm going to choose a color scheme. A color scheme is a combination of colors that work well together. Our designers have created several templates. If you choose one, you will see the real-time preview of the result on your project. So let's browse different universes and choose one for the rest of the presentation. I think I'm going to stick to the black color theme for the rest of the presentation. Now that I have my colors, I can choose the fonts, the typography. So here I've changed the main title of my app. I've modified the heading one. As you can see, all the texts of the app are structured. There is a hierarchy between each type of font, and you can adjust the size. The size is adjusted relatively so that the hierarchy between fonts is maintained. In the global style menu, you can also choose the layout for buttons. You can also choose each hover effects. So those are effects that appear when there is a mouse going over an image. You can also choose effects on text when there is a mouse over. I'm speaking about it because your progressive web app can be used on mobile, of course, but it also can be used on a desktop. So remember, it's a website, so this website can be accessed from whatever browser, from whatever device. Global style is the place where you are going to set up very quickly the design of your app. So let's apply my change and move to another section of the builder, header and body. So the header is the part of the app that is always visible on every pages. So from this menu you can customize it. I'm building the app of a festival, and the name of this festival is called Indie A. I want the name of the festival visible on every page, so I change the title accordingly. And now I'm going to show you something interesting. I like to spend some time on header and body when I make demos of GoodBarber because you will easily understand the spirit of the product. The header is a strategic location in the app because it's a place where you can put some elements that are always accessible for the user. So here we have the navigation, and also we can put action buttons. So from the header and body menu, you have the possibility to add actions. Actually, there is one action already set up. It's a link to a section of the app called Tech Port. And this section allows the user to take a photo and send it to me. I have turned on advanced options for this action. And this will allow me to change the display of the action whether the user comes from a tablet or a desktop. From a tablet, since there is more space on the screen, I can add a text next to the icon. On desktop, there is even more space. I can transform the link into a button. To do it, I just have to put a background color below my link. Here it's white, but I can choose red, for instance, to make the button stand out, and even change the color to white on the button. As you can see, when you create your progressive web app with GoodBarber, you're designing for mobile, for tablet, and also for desktop. And you have options to adapt the layout of your progressive web app depending on the device used by the user. Let me give you one more example. Let's go to the navigation mode menu. You can choose among several templates to set up the navigation. Right now it's the swipe navigation. So from the hamburger menu you can slide the navigation. Let's select the tab bar. So the tab bar is at the bottom of the screen on phone, tablet, but on desktop we manage this differently. As you can see, it becomes a menu just below the header of the website. Okay, let's speak now about content. Content is organized by sections. Some sections are accessible from the main navigation, and other sections can be accessed through action buttons. When you add a new section into your progressive web app, you will choose among a type of content managed by the section. Let's add an article section, for instance. Name your section, and then select a content source. You can choose an external content source. It can be a website, and GoodBarber is going to synchronize the content between the website and the article section, or you can create your content directly inside GoodBarber using the content management system. This is what we're going to do. I'm inside my newly created article section, ready to create my first article. An article is composed with several paragraphs. Paragraphs of text, and also you can have paragraphs with photos. To work with photos, I recommend to use our built-in library. From the library, you access photos made by professionals. It's free and provided by unsplash.com. Use the preview to check the result of what you're doing. Let's jump to a section with more content to show you how to adapt the display of the content in each section. So here is an article section that gives food and drinks informations related to the event. And as every content section in GoodBarber, you have to manage the list of items and the items themselves. So let's see how I can modify the list. When I select the list view in the Design tab, I can choose among several templates. Template 4 will put 3 articles in the highlight and then the rest as a list. So let's choose this layout. And for articles, it's the same idea. You choose among templates to find what works best for your app. I'd like to spend some time now to speak about a very specific section in your app that's called the Home. The home page is the first screen people see when they enter your app. And this page is composed by widgets. Widgets can be used to do several things. You can use them to display content on the home page. You can use them to create links to other parts of the app and many other things. Widgets are stacked vertically. You can insert one widget between 2 others using the plus, or you can edit existing widgets. So a widget has a layout. You can choose among several templates and a source. In this case, this widget is pulling on the home page the content from the lineup section, which contains the event schedule. When you're done designing your app, adding your content, creating your navigation, set up your icons, you can publish your progressive web app. And once published, users will access it from its URL. Of course, you can customize this URL by adding a custom domain name. Following this 3-step process, you'll be able to change webinar1.goodbarber.com by www.yourdomain.com. When the progressive web app is published, the fun begins. You'll be able to send push notifications, you'll be able to add content, make modifications, distribute your progressive web app by sharing its link, and many other things. If you browse the add-ons library, you will find a lot of options you can add to your project in order to increase engagement with your users and nurture your community. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, quick presentation on how to start creating your progressive web app with GoodBarber. If you have questions, you can use the chat window, and I will answer them. From what I can see, there is no reaction for now. So maybe next time we will spend more time on seeing how you can engage with your user, with your audience when the progressive web app is published. And also I will show you, I think, how the progressive web app is displayed on the phones, and especially how you can add it to the home screen. For instance, you have the user is prompted with shortcuts to do it very easily, but it will be done in another section. So I can see there is one section coming now, one question coming, sorry, is Atika asking, can I put many menus in my home? So in fact, the home is composed with the widgets. So you can indeed put several widgets on the home, and widgets they can be used to do several things. So the first thing is you can display on the home page some content that is managed by the sections. Let's say, for instance, for the festival, if we stick with the festival example, in the home page, I put one widget that brings directly all the events of my festival. And the widget is dynamic in the sense that if I create new events in my section, dynamically they will be pulled on the home page. That's the first way to use widgets on the home page. And the second page, and that is closer to the answer to your question, you can use widgets to make links to other parts of the app. So it can be a link to another section. It can be a link to make an action, trigger a call, for instance, sending a short message. So this is the way you use widgets on your home page and create a navigation if you use them with links. When you speak about menus, you may refer to the navigation mode. So here I've shown it very quickly. When you go to navigation mode, you can choose among several templates. You have the swipe, the top bar, the grid, and other templates where you can decide what will be the navigation and what will be the main menu of your app or your website. So in that case, if we take the swipe navigation, for instance, you have 3 zones in the swipe. The first zone is a header when you can put actions. The zone in the middle is where you are going to put the main links to the sections of your app. And in the footer, you can also put some extra information and links for shortcuts, quick actions. There is another way you can create navigation inside your app. It's to call a section, a section called the menu section. The menu section, in fact, is a section, and inside you can put other sections. So let's say you are building a directory and you need to organize your content very precisely and have a hierarchy and the navigation that is progressive inside the app. You can have so your main navigation with the swipe. You click the first section, then it's a menu section. You will display other section, and when you click inside the section under, you access the list of items, and then users can browse the items. So you have many ways to organize the navigation and create your menus. Another question is Rui asking, are progressive web apps going forward on swapping the native apps? Meaning, will them be more popular in the future? So that's a very good question. Progressive web apps are new, but they start to get traction. I was in Barcelona last week for the Mobile World Congress. We were exhibiting, we had a booth over there, and I was surprised that not so many people were very aware of all the benefits and all the power of progressive web apps. The concept is known, and we were in front of an audience that is an audience very close to the mobile industry. It was an audience targeting this industry, but speaking with people, it was surprising that very few were very aware of all the benefits. And if we look at usage, people are using more their mobile to go on the internet than computers. For years, the best way to deliver a good user experience on mobile was to use native apps. But if you look closely at native app usage, you will discover, and several studies show that, you will discover that first, people
don't install any more native apps on their phone. And second, they are using very few apps on their phone, always the same apps, the blockbusters. And we know all of them, we are using them every day. And so people turn to the web, the mobile web, to discover new things. And they make queries on search engine and they land on mobile websites or non-responsive websites, even worse. And if you have to wait too long to access the content, if when you're inside the website, it's not optimized for mobile, you have a lot of lag and the user experience is not good because we are used to have very good user experience thanks to native app, you're losing the users. And progressive web apps are here to bridge this gap between native apps and the mobile web. And thanks to new features, new technologies, and there is one element that makes it possible with progressive web apps, it's called the service worker. You can deliver a very good user experience, the same as a native app, basically, with a progressive web app. And you have extra benefits. It's possible to land on the progressive web app from a search query on Google. It's easy to share. You can install. You don't download anything. You just put a shortcut, but it will be an icon on your springboard, on your home screen, on your phone, just like any app. You click on it, you access your progressive web app. You can browse it offline. You can receive push notifications. So due to all of this, and also all the work and the improvement on web technologies, for sure, progressive web apps are going to become the new standard, and they will cohabit with native apps. And it will be possible to get new users from long-tail queries, for instance, into your progressive web app. And if what you propose is good, if the content is good and they like what they found, chances are they are going to give you a place on their home screen, and then you will be able to start engaging more and increasing your audience. Some companies like Microsoft are pushing hard for progressive web apps, Google also, and Microsoft, for instance, they will index automatically progressive web apps with their crawler, Bing crawler, and reference them into their store that is accessible on Windows devices. Another question from Atika. If I have many restaurants menus and I want to put them in home, is it possible? Okay, so if I understand well the question, you're speaking about the menu, what we eat in the restaurant, not the organization inside the app. So what you can do, you can use a widget, and this, what I would do, I would use an article section. Every article will be a menu. That's one way to do it. Now, if you have multiple restaurants, what I would do also, it depends. I would use a map section, create 1 point per restaurant, and in description, list the menu for the restaurants. That's another possibility. If you do that, it will be possible to access the content from a list and access the content from a map. So it's up to you to see what works best for your project. And when my content is created, organized inside my sections, I would use an article widget or map widget in the home page, and maybe pull out the information from 1 or 2 restaurants, and then the user landing on the home page, when he clicks on the widget, is directed through to the section. Could be the list, could be an item inside the section. So you can, from the home page, surface the content you think will be the most relevant when people enter the app, and when they click on it, they will be directed to something where they can learn more about what they've seen on the home page. So thank you very much for your participation to this webinar. It will be available in replay, and if it's always possible, as you know, to follow the conversation in the comments. Have a nice day and see you next time. Bye.